everybody. This is. Sorry, guys. Adriana just passed away. This is Adriana 2, and welcome to Straw Hat Crusaders,
Yeah.
our podcast. Woo! And today, do I do the line?
Yeah.
Last time.
Okay. Last time.
Last time?
Oh, my bad.
This time, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, murder.
Oh, JoJo has a tough conversation about his mother.
Big Nate. Big Nate kills.
What?
He did Diary of a Wimpy Kid, so I didn't want to upset the balance.
Big Nate Island.
Yeah.
Luffy's got big ass toes.
True.
True.
That did happen.
And this is
Straw
Hat Crusaders.
I hope this is the energy I bring to every time I intro this.
Me too,
podcast.
I
honestly.
hope so as well.
Jesus, me too, man. Well, for all our Straw Hats and our Crusaders out there, we're going to be doing a little thing where Adriana, explain.
What?
What's the thing?
what's the thing? Yeah,
I don't know.
I felt like I stole your thunder because I started talking. I'm like,
What
oh, wait.
are you talking
I was
about?
like, no, Adriana has to keep introing. I was like, ah, shit.
DJ, play that intro.
Sanji's cooking.
True. He started cooking.
He's about
He
to-
did.
he's about to-
That
did
should have
one
been
cooking.
my this time on.
Yeah.
So Josh is gonna tell you all about everything. Apparently, go.
Now I feel bad.
I don't know what to say. So you can actually.
So some of us have been reading One Piece, and some of us have been watching JoJo. I won't say who.
All of us have been reading one.
All of us
All
have been
of
reading
us,
One Piece,
yes.
and one of us has been watching JoJo, but one of us knows everything about One Piece already. He's just doing it for the fucking love of the game, and some of us are not watching JoJo because we've seen it already.
1 billion.
1
times.
billion. I've seen part 2 3 times, so I'm good. I love it, but I'm fucking all right. Okay.
I'm glad we cleared that.
How are we all?
We're not-
How are we all? Before we get into all that, though,
Who are we?
Who the fuck
who the
are
goddamn
you?
fucking shit are
Who
we?
the freak are
Who
we?
the frick?
Yeah.
I'm Adriana 2.
I'm Clayton Chelman.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Hayden Hartrick.
And
And-
I'm
I'm trying to 3. When did you get here?
No. We'll let you out.
Yeah.
not released yet. Okay, go ahead.
How are we all doing today?
I'm great. I just got back from Indianapolis, Indiana.
That's where magic happens.
it is where Magic the Gathering happens at Gen Con 2023.
Well,
Immediately date the episode.
What's everything that happened on that trip?
Oh, so many wonderful things. I had such an amazing, awesome, wonderful time. Met a lot of really great people, played a lot of board games, spent a lot of money, got really cool board games and organizational systems, so that me and Clayton, who are playing through Frosthaven right now, we got some inserts and stuff to completely reorganize our Frosthaven box, which is really, really exciting. I got some board games like the Injustice, Gods Among Us deck builder. I spent a lot of money. I ate some food.
What?
And I demoed some games for some really cool stuff.
What
It
food
was
did you eat?
Nice.
I ate.
How's the Indianapolis food scene?
So it's fine. I didn't experiment with restaurants in Indianapolis as
So
much.
the Cane's was good? The
This was
Cane's
my
was
first time. I actually went to, I think, the best Cane's I've ever had.
What? Is that where
Not-
it's from?
Not in
Explain.
Indiana. Not in Indiana.
Oh.
But
On
on
the
our
way.
drive out there, we stopped at a Cane's one night, and it was the fucking freshest, juiciest, tenderest Cane's I've ever had
What
in my
state
whole
was
life.
it in?
I don't know where we
don't
were.
know?
I don't know where
Wow.
we were. It might have been In Arkansas? Maybe? I don't know.
I think we have to devote our lives to finding this
We'll
case
find this
now.
Canes again. We'll just drive to Indiana, and I'll know where it is on the route.
Yeah.
But no, it's great. There was some place called
Sanji's
like
cooking, man.
Island Noodles that was really good. They had like a whole like
Island boy.
they had a whole like block party of food trucks and stuff that I would go to
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and eat lunch at. That's where I got a lot of my food, was just right around there.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, some great little like noodles like with like chicken on top that was really good. Some stuff, some good stuff. I had some good cocktails, some good drinks from a couple of bars around. I went to a Mexican restaurant that was just Indianapolis Mexican food is very different from Texas Mexican food. But I will say, out of the entire trip, I ordered a lot of drinks, and for those of you that can't see my face, I'm a rather young looking guy. I typically get ID'd. I got ID'd absolutely nowhere except for walking into the NSFW cosplay booth.
They're on
That
their
is the
shit.
only point in the entire trip that I got ID'd so they could make sure I was 18.
Wow.
Yeah, why-
Interesting booth
why
there.
do
I
do
talked
that?
about that off the podcast. Nobody needs to learn about that, but
I think all you gotta say is the Scholastic Book Fair really prepared you.
Yeah.
For whatever they had with the bookmarks.
with
like
the
I was
bookmarks,
saying.
there were. I'll tell it. There are holographic posters like that. Those ones that change as you look at it. Where one image was the person in cosplay, and another image was them completely naked, and it was scientifically interesting. That's why I looked at
Yes.
it for so long.
Of course.
My driver's license does that.
Between you naked and you clothed.
Well, because sometimes he drives naked, and they have to be able to
Yeah,
tell.
that's true. Yeah.
Right?
True.
It's legal here in Texas.
You can get a
elsewhere.
provisional license to let you drive naked in
Yeah.
Texas. So it works.
It does have a much harder driver's test, though.
Yes, in
Literally.
more ways than one.
How's everybody else doing?
Good.
I don't know how we can top that. I just
Right. Well, I also had noodles,
Damn.
and they were really.
No.
I
You wanted to brand yourself as the noodle.
I wanted
guy,
to be the
didn't
noodle
you?
guy on the
Don't do
podcast.
that.
you moved too.
Oh, I did. I moved apartments.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So did I. We both moved.
And your
Exciting.
new
Yeah.
address is.
Is Adriana Street.
Yay.
Yay.
Well, that's where Adriana 2 lives. If you want to figure out where Adriana 1 lives,
Right.
wait till we get to Skypea. Right?
Yes, yes. Skype, yeah, that's one of them.
That's one of them.
Good job, sport.
What about Skype? What?
Skypea is an arc.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
None of ya.
I was like, I don't put my address in Skype. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
I moved, and there were ants. Gasp! I know. There were ants. Had to deal with that, but I did deal with it, and now there are no ants.
Nice.
Yes, there's only me crawling around in there.
Oh. All our ant listeners.
I really like it.
Really sorry.
Did you get rid of the ants or did?
I did. I bought ant traps.
Nice.
They didn't do shit.
Nice.
Yeah,
Wait,
So how'd you get rid of them?
I bought ant traps, and
But
I
they,
trapped them.
you said they didn't do shit.
No. Sorry, the apartment complex didn't do shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yes. So yeah, now they're gone, and I rule the house again. Yeah, that's what's happening with me. My friend Zoe is staying with me. We're like having so much fun. We're watching H2Os. We're watching House. Those are the shows we're watching,
Nice.
and we're hanging out. Yeah, and I'm going to New York tomorrow, and that's also what's new.
Hell yeah.
So that'll be
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking
so
hell
probably
yeah.
next
Exciting,
episode I'll
exciting.
talk
And
about what I did in New
we,
York.
surprise, are coming with you.
What?
We're having a podcast in New York,
In
baby.
New York.
We
The
have
next episode you hear
Concrete
will be recorded in
jungle.
New York. We're not going to mention it, but you know it's there.
It
yeah,
will be in
and
New
there
York.
will be a live audience. It'll be called the Citizens of New York. It's a
Yeah.
flash podcast. We're gonna do a flash pod.
Yeah.
Glenn, how are you?
I'm doing good. I was in Houston for the weekend, and that's a city that sucks.
Yeah.
I had boba for the first time. I,
Boba
I
these
never
nuts?
had boba.
Hey, make a note. How far we are into this podcast? we
about
got
10
something
minutes.
out. Okay,
Um,
something got to cut out of.
but I took my first sip of boba, and I guess I was like, "There's little things in there," and I guess I didn't really think through how that would work, and so I went.
Yeah. And you swallowed it.
like 5 tapioca
Oh
balls
my
just
God.
straight into my throat.
Oh my god.
But it
Have
was
you
really
never
good.
eaten soup before?
Well, soup. I guess I've never eaten soup with a straw.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh my god.
But it was very good. It was a brown sugar
Ooh,
creme brulee.
I was gonna ask what flavor you
milk
got.
tea.
Yeah.
It was
Where?
very good.
Not that I would know, because I don't know Houston. I'm from Houston. Don't know it that well. But where did you get this boba?
It's actually a chain place, so maybe you are familiar with it. It's called like Gancha, I believe.
No, never heard of
I
it.
actually don't like boba teas. I don't know. Why I asked. But what were you doing in Houston?
I was visiting my significant other's family in
Right.
Houston.
Nice.
Right. What part?
Yes.
What part of Houston?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to
The
that.
hot part.
Yes.
Was it like more downtown? I guess that's what-
We could see downtown.
Oh, okay.
We
Yeah.
tried our hardest not to go into downtown.
Yeah, it sucks.
Guys, well, actually, sorry, Josh. We needed Josh.
I'll
how
make
are
it
you?
quick.
What happened, Josh?
I'm doing pretty good. I've had a busy week. I had to move into my friend's guest room until my next lease starts, which kind of sucks. But me and him are hanging out and having a good time. And yeah, had a busy week. For those who don't know, I'm in an improv troupe. Forget that I said that. And we tried a new form.
Yeah.
Because we only had 3 people this time. Because everyone else is like, there's a life. Everyone else has a fucking life in our troupe. But no, it actually went really well. I'm excited to keep doing that. And yeah, just moving. Just got out of an internship, so I can now give my full name.
Nice.
I'm not gonna do it, but I could.
You already did.
No,
Yeah, you did.
no, we cut that out, right? We cut that out. Cut that
Don't
out.
look at me.
The editor.
I'm not going to edit it. I put the intro and the outro on the...
Okay. Yeah, y'all probably know my name. And yeah, I read some One Piece. So,
You did
do we
do
want to
that.
talk about JoJo first?
It's typically the structure.
Okay.
Sure.
I think we actually should.
Yeah.
This time.
time.
There will be episodes where I do think we should switch the order,
Uh-huh.
depending on. But since you're still kind of watching things that you've seen, and you haven't really got to the real juicy stuff yet,
Uh-huh.
and we are getting into some juicy stuff with One Piece, ish. I think it's still
Yeah.
still
Okay.
start with JoJo.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We had a lot of juice this week.
I also think in the future, and this is something we would need to talk about off mic as well, but maybe in the future if there's something big coming, maybe this is a JoJo episode or a One Piece episode. If it's something like huge.
No, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
But with that, should we talk about JoJo?
Yeah. Sure.
Yes.
Hell yeah. So I guess right off the bat, I'll just say we are done with Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
We moved on to Joseph.
Hell yeah.
And I'm having a much better time.
You watched
Yeah.
the first 6 episodes of part
The
2,
first
correct?
6 episodes. So just to give a quick time frame so we all know what's happening there. Joseph, we meet Joseph. There's a whole thing with him. We meet Erina. Joseph's the grandson.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
thought this whole time that he was the son.
Yes.
But he is the grandson.
Yes.
So there's a whole thing there. Caesar gets kicked in the head by Strizo because Strizo's evil. And truly, there was a bit.
Caesar? Oh, do you mean Speedwagon?
Sorry. Speedwagon. Robert
Yes.
E.O. Speedwagon gets kicked in the
Other
head
blonde guy.
by Straits. And then he becomes a vampire. And then, truly, I care so little about Strizo that he started, he became young looking.
Yeah.
When he became a vampire, and so then when he was standing at outside the diner, I was like, are there 2 vampires? I was like, who the fuck is this asshole? But that happens, and then Speedwagon is taken by Nazis, and so then Joseph goes to the Nazis and he dresses like a woman. And they go inside, and then one of the Nazis gets a really heroic death, and he becomes really good friends with him. And then
He cries really hard.
yes, but I guess I don't even need to go into that much detail. We get up to the point that we have met Caesar, and then we meet AC/DC, Wham, and of course The third one.
Lightning McQueen.
Cars.
Cars, of course.
The most important one. But you don't know that yet.
And then they fight for a little bit, and they put exploding cock rings on Joseph.
Yeah.
And that is where we left off.
Yeah.
So what do you think so far of part 2 in comparison to part 1?
It's still something of a mixed bag for me, but it is like 3 times better at least. I found I'm having fun. It seems sillier and goofier now.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot that's making me laugh. In the first episode, Joseph like pulls out the Tommy gun like, from his pocket and shoots the shit.
Yeah.
He also like guns
really-
down a whole restaurant.
It's
Yeah.
really
like,
Looney Tunes-esque.
He also
it is.
explodes a bunch of grenades in that same story.
He was like, "We are in the United States of America right now."
Yeah. His secret anime technique is 10 grenades. It's that was pretty cool. The fights are much better. I still don't really like Hemon, but it's being used in a way that's a lot more fun. I like the little shot glasses. Also, I had a vague memory of this, but I wasn't thinking about it. I totally forgot about it. The thing that Joseph does when he says, "And next you'll say, how'd you do that, you little squirt?"
Yeah, and your next line is,
that is so good. I like it so much. And especially when they start doing it where he's like saying it as the person saying it. When he like thinks there is a shot though when Strizo shoots him in the face with a laser where it's Joseph being like, "And next you'll say this, and he has a fucking hole through his brain. It's like, bro.
well, yeah, because he was his reflection.
Yeah.
I did not understand what happened the first time I watched it.
It's a little confusing because why is there a hole through his human head in the reflection instead of just the reflection exploding?
Also, continuity error because Strizo doesn't appear in the mirror, but there are moments later on where vampires do appear in the mirror, at least in the manga.
Well, it's just how shy they are at that time. That's what it's based on.
Right.
So
That's a good headcanon.
Yes.
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, Joseph is
He's great.
he's great.
He's
Yeah.
great. I mean, the whole thing, you talk about the fights, and it's just like every single fight, because I watched a little bit of it with Clayton. I think I watched about half of what he was watching with him. All of the fights being much less about punching a guy and about like outsmarting. Like the whole guy with the cactus knife man.
Donovan.
He has a name?
Know these things.
I am
Why do you
sick. I'm sick. I always forget that he exists.
like-
But
Also,
I do know his
you're
name.
like-
That is, this is a One Piece fan saying this. That is one of the worst character designs I have ever seen. That is terrible.
It's
I
pretty
don't
bad.
I don't
So ugly.
remember.
It's pretty
I wanna
bad.
look
It's
it
pretty
up.
bad.
Yeah.
Although, again, you check yourself because you are a One Piece fan.
Yeah, I think Oda's character designs it's different, but I think it's brilliant. I think Oda has great character designs,
Yeah.
but I understand that they're also hard to look at sometimes.
Yeah. And same thing with early
Oh
JoJo.
my god! I just looked up
Yeah.
to remind me what Don.
he
was.
he
Why
is.
do you remember what this
He's
guy's
localized.
Name is?
His name is localized to be Donubang, but I don't know
Yes,
why.
that's what I
Uh,
remember that we were watching it and I was like, why the fuck is his name Dono Bang? I was like, this is
Yeah.
surely a music reference or
yeah,
something.
it is. Donovan, I think it's the last name of a specific.
He got a long
musician.
tongue. He's got a really long tongue.
Got a long tongue. You got a long tongue.
Yep.
But yeah, he gets fucked up real easily.
And then Joseph ties him to a cactus
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
bleed to death in the hot desert
Amazing.
sun.
Yeah. So Joseph coming off of Jonathan, it's a bit of a shock.
Aren't you tired
Yes.
of being nice?
Aren't you? Yeah.
Don't you want to go ape
I
shit?
think. I mean, how do you interpret that? How do you interpret the big change there? The protagonists.
Really like it because a big thing for me is that the series still feels like it doesn't know what it is. And I don't think that because it's like change. I think the change here is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the change is helpful in it, like figuring out, that it can like be fluid and jump around like that. And so that seems to be one of the most promising parts is like the absolute, like, almost opposite in a protagonist. I will say, I hope that eventually we get a JoJo that is a little less pure of heart, because Jonathan's a lot more of a like kind of a rat bitch, but he is still very much like.
You mean Joseph?
Yes, sorry, Joseph.
Yeah.
But he's still very like, I can't let these innocent
Right.
people get hurt by this vampire.
Yeah.
And so I want a mean one. I want one that's like, yeah, you
Uh-huh.
can fucking kill him. I don't give a fuck.
I mean,
You'll get your wish, right?
you'll get your wish.
For
You
sure.
you something that one of the
If not, yes, I can think of actually a couple that, if not being like that all the time, there's definitely like refreshing moments where they're like, yeah, I'm not just the good guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely.
Araki does this thing that you'll notice where each protagonist is a response and an accumulation of the previous protagonists. It's a response to and an accumulation of. So like he had Jonathan, he's the noble, pure-hearted, good guy, you know, the blue-eyed fucking Boy Scout, and then Joseph is a fucking criminal. Like he's just he's a rat bastard.
Also from New Jersey.
He's also from New Jersey, and he doesn't. Well, what's the word? He's a trickster. He's almost in his behavior in every way. He's just more interesting because I think Araki also learned that I need to make my protagonist like really fun this time.
Yep.
But
He also, in his introduction, the first thing that Joseph does is horrifically mutilate two cops and call them
I
pigs.
was literally going to. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna bring that up. It was,
yes, it's
yeah.
a really good. It's a really good introduction to the guy. He even and it really allows him because he looks so much like Jonathan, and it's even worse in the manga. It's so hard to tell them apart, but you can just tell by the look on their face that they are two different characters because he feels like he defines them really well to be different.
Yep.
But yeah, Joseph is a lot of people's favorite to this day. He's not my personal favorite, but a lot of people like the impression he left is like still felt throughout the fan base.
I get that. He's really working for me. I would say I think that a lot of it outside of Joseph still feels the pacing to me is a little weird right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
As well as like I'm still struggling to kind of care with some of the side characters here.
You didn't like Mark?
Do what?
I'm kidding.
Mark the Nazi?
Mark the Nazi? You didn't like Mark?
There's
They
so
cried
much-
over Mark.
It's so
they
funny.
love the.
They
I guess they
love
weren't
Mark.
technically Nazis yet, and so it's like, sure, I guess, if Baron von Stroheim and Mark had lived a few more years, they would have been Nazis.
No,
But
I
but
think they
now
were
they get to
Nazis.
die.
I think they were Nazis. but
Yeah, they
it's just
have,
not mentioned that
They
they're
have the
Nazis.
SS on them.
they're doing the salute in the intro.
Yeah, Stroheim does
It's
that salute.
bad.
That is
I fully forgot that was a part of the intro, and when I was rewatching it with Clayton,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and it's such a perfect moment because it like is a well, hold on.
Let him cook.
In terms of how funny it is to
Yeah.
me, because it's like the culmination of like a musical build up.
Yeah.
Like it goes like do 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 do,
Yeah.
and it goes full music out
Like, jump
as he
scare.
salutes, and then the music comes right back in. It's so funny.
Oh, the intro.
Oh,
The new
yeah.
Yes,
intro.
I was just about to get to that. It's fucking great.
It is so good.
The intro for this part is so solid. Like it's so much better than the first. The first one's good, but this one is amazing. Also, the animation for this one, because one did it all right, but the 3D animation is really really good in the second part one. Yeah, I like watching them dance around in the intro.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the
It's a-
song fucks.
Song
It really
fucks
does. It
bigly.
One of the things.
Bigly
sorry,
fucked.
go
No,
ahead.
you go
No,
ahead.
you go. Go!
Josh, go.
before I watched JoJo, like years before, that song was like me and my best friend, we would like literally blast it in the car. I was like, this is like the sexiest song we've ever heard. And we did like not even associating. It was funny.
I said this before, but I did listen to it for a year or two before I ever watched the show.
Yeah.
And like I would watch the intro sometimes just to feel something. And I'd be like, man, too bad I'll never know how cool or whatever the story is to this intro. And now I do.
Now you do.
Now you do.
Yeah.
I was telling Clayton about this while we were watching the episodes, but this reminded me of one of those things that I really enjoy about the JoJo openings is how a lot of JoJo openings have subtle or not so subtle spoilers for the entire series. That really only makes sense after you watch it. Like after you watch it, you're like, holy shit, they put that moment in in the thing. Or not to give any spoilers or anything, but there's a specific I don't know if you'll know what I'm talking about.
I will know.
But there's a specific choice made in the part 5 intro that in Fighting Gold that at the very end you look at it and you're like, oh, that's why they put those characters like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yes.
I do.
Do people die in that one?
No. Nobody dies in JoJo.
Okay.
Except Jonathan. But yeah, so you have now met Joseph. He's a fun guy.
He's a fun guy.
And
you met the Pillar Man.
Met the Pillar Man.
And Caesar as well.
And Caesar.
Is he like piquing your interest at all?
I am interested in him. I tend to enjoy, and this is a tough thing because and we may get to talk about this a little bit with the One Piece chapter today as well. But in anime, characters who are like ladies' men, I can really enjoy as long as they don't cross a certain line.
Yeah.
And Caesar, it's like weird. I don't know in the show's universe what side of the line he's on, because I didn't get the vibe that he was on the wrong side of the line.
Yeah.
He does at one point grab a random woman off the street, kiss her, and curse her with Haman energy to fight Jonathan. By the way, poor fucking when she gets a pigeon shoved in her mouth.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty good. I thought I was a fan of that.
Joseph's like, I knew you were going to kiss her. So how about this?
I knew you were going to kiss her. So I put a pigeon in her throat.
When you're the first one to fall asleep at the sleep.
Well, luckily for you, that's all the data you'll get on Caesar's lady history with women. Cause
I bet because they want to fuck each other so bad.
Caesar's interactions with women do not come up again unless it's Lisa, who, I don't know if you've met her yet. I mean, you
in my first watch, Hayden pointed out a woman in the opening credits, and I was like, I remember somebody spying on her while she was nude.
Next episode, we will talk about that for about an hour. Just that scene. But no.
And then we'll talk about it again later.
Maybe not. It will depend. So Caesar and Joseph are heavily shipped. And
as they should be.
Literally in that scene when they're like fighting each other, they're like arguing, and Caesar like kisses that girl, and Jonathan's like, "What are you trying to do? Make me jealous?" It's like it feels to me. I mean that's how I am watching this, at least currently. I obviously you can speak to whatever about intent, but they're gay and in love.
There's this thing I've noticed.
They're already in love. They just met.
Where,
and they're in love.
There's this thing I've noticed where like we'll call them Joe Bros. The main supporting cast.
Did you just make that up? That's really good.
Yeah.
That's like really like.
I wouldn't
how
be
did you
surprised
come
if
up with
everybody
that?
started using that immediately because of us.
You should like tell people. We should tell people about that.
I know. That's what I'm telling Clayton because I'm like, since nobody knew, definitely he didn't know. In the JoJo community, typically the main supporting cast are called Joe Bros. And something you'll notice about a lot of Joe Bros is that when you first meet them, they're very different than when the rest of the time you'll know them.
Uh-huh.
But normally it's for a good reason. Typically it's something about them meeting the JoJo.
To be loved is to be changed.
Exactly.
True.
They meet the JoJo and things change for them.
Just very poetic music that we hear from Adriana.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the things you were talking about earlier about not being invested in the side characters, I think is something that really only exists in part 1 and 2, because in later parts, once most of the side characters have stands, well then they can actually have an episode devoted to them where they don't need, because it's like you can't have a Speedwagon episode, because if Speedwagon tries to fight a vampire, he loses 100% of the time.
He does. Yeah.
But eventually you get the episodes where you get just whole episodes and fights devoted to the Joe Bros, which lets you be invested in them as characters more.
Yeah, they have a bigger role. It starts being like, let's make characters I want to put this guy on a baseball card, and and that's kind
The
of
part that does it the best is part 5, and that's why it's my favorite, because it's an ensemble part.
It's really good.
Each one does it in a special way, but I will say
Part 5 is
Part 5 does go crazy,
anything else,
but it gets to a point where I think people, in certain parts, people actually, both Araki himself and the fans, start noticing that the Joe Bros kind of overshadow the JoJos in some aspects. It really depends on the part, but yeah, that'll be an interesting conversation for part 5 that I'm specifically waiting for. So I actually briefly want to touch on, because this is just something, maybe I only feel this way, but you now see Erina and Speedwagon much older, right? Main characters from the first part. How do you feel about them? Is there any part of you that's more endeared to them? Do you feel the same? I mean,
I guess theoretically, it's I've known Speedwagon the longest out of all these characters. I think even more so than just the characters, I'm having a hard time investing in the larger scale plot of this, because a lot of it just it is not doing great at getting any characters emotionally involved in anything.
Yeah.
And Erina, I like. There's a scene we get early with her as well, when that guy's being racist and Joseph's gonna fight, and she's like, "Hold up," and he's like, "You can't tell me not to fight this guy." And she's like, "No, you should kill that guy, but just don't hurt anybody else."
yeah.
That's nice. Also, there's a lot of racism in these 6 episodes from characters, of course. And it is these are the bad guys. But it's also it is a little bit more than I think makes sense to be in here, to be and these characters really hate black people.
Again, we are in the United States of I think it's that it's one of those things where it's this is how the author thinks America is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess maybe the cultural lens that makes sense. But that works. Speedwagon, I have never liked Speedwagon more than when he had a silly hat that had knives on it.
Yeah.
And right now he's been in nearly mummified in bandages for most of the episodes that I've seen him in.
Yeah, I didn't really care about Speedwagon for a while until much later on when he wasn't even relevant. But yeah, there's something, I don't know. Maybe I just look at it through rose-colored glasses now.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
I will admit to doing that.
Yeah.
I think that is definitely what we do.
Because I see that time skip with Speedwagon and Erina, and how they've stuck together since Jonathan's death. How they've raised Joseph together, just platonically, and my heart melts. I'm and Erina, now instead of being just this nice country girl, she's a sophisticated grandma who hits Joseph with an umbrella and you're acting up. I don't know. I think that this was kind of the first instance where Araki got to age up characters, and even if they're not the most important characters, I like the way he ages up characters. I think it's done pretty organically. But that's just a small thing. We really shouldn't be devoting so much time to that. When
we're going to talk about it so much more.
When the Pillarmen,
you
have now met.
How did you feel about the music, the theme song for them.
The music's great.
Yeah.
Big fan of the music. Thus far, the Pillarmen. So I've. What's the name of the fucking first one?
Cars, Wamu, and
No, the
Cars?
Santana?
Santana.
Santana. Oh, man,
Yeah.
we forgot. him.
That I did not care about at all.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite part of part 2.
And the whole series to me, because I didn't care about Strizo either, I was enjoying Jonathan through it all. When the Pillarmen come out, I was like, okay, whatever. I'm like, the music is cool. But then specifically Wham, or it's before the other Pillarmen come out, but Wham does the thing. He comes out and there's all these guards and he like zips through them and puts all their hands in each
Yeah.
other's bodies
Yeah.
and then grabs one of them and like drains them like a long straw. And I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. This feels
Yeah.
like what JoJo is like trying to be.
Yeah, the Pillarmen themselves are such like they're like the first example of like what villains become throughout the rest.
Yeah.
And I think that they're so fun. They're
They're
such fun,
iconic.
and they all have like very unique personalities, and I think
Yes.
are all uniquely written, which is done. Yeah.
About before I forget about Straight, so it's the funniest thing about that character is the fact that Josh told me about this a while ago, but apparently Araki got a letter from a fan, and this in the letter, the fan was berating him about killing Straight. Like this fan was like, he was beautiful, and you took him away from me. I'll never forgive you. I hate you. Like the actual letter is
Oh
so
my
much
God.
funnier, but it's just this little kid who really liked Straight.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, and they were so sad when he died.
It was awesome.
Meanwhile,
Damn.
everyone else is like, okay. It really
And
got.
I was that little girl. He is beautiful.
True.
He is
The wording of the letter is
Yeah, it
just,
was so
is-
good. I'll have to
makes
find
Is
it.
what makes it
I'll have to
hilarious.
find it later. But yeah, so so from this point on, the Pillarmen are here. They put the cock rings on Joseph. He has a little.
Yes.
He has a little.
Two of them.
Yeah, he has a
Not-
little
not
tizzy
three.
with Wamu. And then Wamu's like, you know what, you're funny. I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna make a little bet with you and make sure that we can fight when you are more trained up. And then ECDC does it for the lulz. Like he does it. He's like, that's so funny, Wamu. You're so funny. I'm gonna do it too. And that's pretty much ECDC's whole vibe. He really doesn't have as much to say. I will say as the other two. I do like that dynamic that they do establish between the three Pillarmen. There's a hierarchy between them. Cars is like, y'all are just horse fooling around. I'm not dealing with that. Is that how did you feel about their character designs? That's something I need to specifically ask you.
Their character designs, I think, I'm not loving it. Sorry if that is
No,
that's
please
not
be
fun.
honest.
More
please be
like
honest.
their proportions of their bodies.
I love
That's
the
really
proportions of their
yeah,
body.
because there's no really like outfit to,
Yeah,
to
They
go
are
on.
the horniest characters in
Yes.
all of JoJo,
Yeah.
right? Like
Wham
that's
is
Horus
in
portrayals.
a thong. He's
Yeah.
like, his
Yes.
cheeks are out.
All
Yeah.
the cheeks are out. Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
We also get like some shots at angles where it's like we are in this man's taint right now. But yeah, that's cool. I think my only issue with their design is that they are uniformly all one color, and they don't really have a whole lot of variety in color even on their bodies.
Yeah.
And so it all just they all kind of blend together for me a little bit.
Yeah. I would say that the art direction changes a lot after parts 1 and 2. There's an insane focus on cramming the backgrounds with so much imagery. I don't know if you noticed, because you're not supposed to really be looking at the backgrounds, I guess, but there's so much design work that goes into the backgrounds, and then the actual characters are somewhat like, I don't know, like just not very interesting to look at sometimes. So visually part 2 not my favorite, but it is also interesting to think about why they took it in that direction. I think it puzzles me to watch part 2 in that way.
Real quick, we're probably, and we can say some more stuff if we need, but we're probably getting towards the end of JoJo time.
Yeah.
I'm ready to.
I think I've said my piece. Does anybody have any final thoughts on JoJo?
Well, again, Mark, how did you feel?
Yeah, who is your favorite Nazi?
Who's your favorite Nazi? Yeah.
I mean, Mark, we talked to him for a little bit. I will say he got like the tragic death scene while he was literally, we could see the remaining half of his brain. He was in half. And I think he literally said the word, the pain is creeping in. And it's like, is it? I bet it is.
Yeah.
You saw it with did you see like the brain and stuff?
No.
No, okay.
I just meant that like if you're looking in that direction, you would see his one of his lobes.
Well, because
isn't it censored? Like there is an uncensored version,
censored.
correct? Where you see the
Blu-ray.
insides.
No, you're watching the uncensored version. You just don't see it from the angle. Funny enough, and this makes me I have such conflicted feelings about this. Parts 1 and 2, the Blu-ray editions, which have a ton of corrections, like production corrections, are on Netflix. For the rest of the parts, it's the TV versions, the raw TV versions with any of their mistakes, which on first viewing, you probably won't notice any. But as someone who has seen these a few times, it's very, very annoying to see that. So I don't know why they haven't updated them to the Blu-ray versions. Hopefully they do by the time you get later on in the series. But
I just can't believe you got us talking about Mark actually. Like, I can't believe that worked. Like you said about Mark, and then we actually talked about Mark.
I was mainly joking.
Again, I know. Anyway.
But I found it, I don't know. I thought that part was funny as hell. Because it's like, I mean, if you think about it, Caesar
We're not going to keep talking about
No,
Mark.
but like, that is something that is interesting to think about. Caesar is a proud Italian. And during this time, the Italians were the Axis powers. The Italians. So, I don't know.
It's a One Piece.
That's the name of the treasure on the Grand Line. The pirate rap is what I was singing. Guys, what did y'all think of volumes 4 and 5, I think, of One Piece?
4 and 5.
I loved it.
Hayden loved it.
I thought it was neat. Yeah.
Adriana thought it was
fun.
neat.
It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
This arc was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I got real sick of it. And then it ended.
I loved a lot of it.
I
It's
enjoyed
literally
the
just
arc
how
the
long
whole
it
time.
was.
Yeah, I understood what your warning was. I mean, there were parts, yes, that I liked.
Yeah.
For sure. But it was I will say it was probably my least favorite arc thus far in the story. However, it ended, the very last chapter of it was very nice.
And remind me.
Because we get Usopp's little backstory about his mom, and I shed tears.
I did too. I did too.
Oh, okay.
I didn't cry.
Everybody, I mean this. Start keeping the cry
Right.
tally, the tear tally.
Yeah, you too, by the way. When
I am-
another Mark
I am-
dies,
Oh, for JoJo?
Yeah,
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I'll probably cry at some point.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Not gonna say that. No, that got me. I wasn't expecting it, and it's such a small little blip.
Oh
but
my
it's
god!
Just like
hit me.
Especially when it's like. I think it was so nice to put that at the end, like in the very last bit of the arc, because
Yes.
we've already taken so much time. Can we talk about Usopp for a second?
Let's talk about Usopp.
Usopp fell into one of my favorite character archetypes this arc, which is the guy that can't do shit and will not win the fight, but keeps fucking getting up. It's like the Moomin Rider type from One Punch Man.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite moments in that whole show. And Usopp had a few of them when he gets bonked on the head, just one strike to the head, and he's got so much blood pouring down his face, but he's like, I'm gonna get up. I was like, I love this guy.
Yes. Usopp is undoubtedly like the weakest person there.
Uh-huh.
Unless he has a projectile, right?
He has a little slingshot,
Hinting at
but
his
that is also
marksmanship.
like, what are you going to put in a slingshot, man?
No, I mean the cannon. He's good at cannons too.
That's true. He is good at cannons.
So, yeah, he's
Physically, he is
in
a
a
human
combat
amongst
fight. Yeah.
demigods. Because
Yeah.
like the things
Yeah.
that like Zoro and Luffy can do
Yeah.
are like not human.
Uh-huh.
Like they're monsters.
Yeah, and he got taken out by a regular crew member of the other pirates, where it's like, I haven't seen any crew members from any of the pirate gangs even come close to touching Zoro or Luffy or even Nami. Like, they just, like, you have to be a named character if you want to land a
Yeah.
strike on them.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I loved Usopp, though. I loved it.
He
And-
grew on me. He grew
and
on me.
especially that last moment with his mom, where he's like,
Yes.
"Okay, cool," and he's like, "I'm gonna lie because I got to keep her spirits up," and very nice.
I will say, as of right, sorry, did I cut you off?
No.
As of right now, he's my least favorite of the four. But I do enjoy him, and his design is growing on me. His interesting face. I don't think that's shared. I don't think it's a shared sentiment here.
Does it change at all the art style of him specific? Because I feel like in the anime,
Usopp looks way different in this arc than he usually does.
really, okay,
Really?
I
Yeah.
don't know how quickly it changes.
yeah, it must be gradual.
And I say way different. As somebody who looks at Usopp's face all the time,
Somebody
it's
has
gonna-
a picture of him in his locker.
A holographic picture
In
where
with his
sometimes
wallet.
he has a
it's going to
holographic
be
picture.
subtle, but it's definitely going to change. And in my opinion, it starts to look a little bit better when Oda figures out what he's doing.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Right now, though, I don't think I will ever adapt to like that in its early stages, but I think that will probably adapt into something I'll probably like.
Uh-huh.
But as a character, I like him
Yeah.
still.
Oh, yeah. I gave y'all the warning for this one that I was like, I think this arc kind of sucks, and it is still amongst my least favorite One Piece arcs. I had a lot more fun with it than I remember
had
having.
a lot of fun. I thought Kuro was a great villain for this arc. I know we were talking about shitting on his plan earlier, but like when they
He is-
recontextualize it into more of just like he's trying to get out of the pirate game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this is not a plan for him to have a bunch of money and keep being a pirate. It's like he's trying to get out of the game, and I think it is a decent plan for that goal. He was also, I felt like just a fucking piece of shit the whole time, and I love that they just like he just hard committed to just being like, yeah, and I'm gonna kill all of you. You're all gonna die, and that's it. And there were no redeeming qualities. He wasn't silly at all. He just got to be a bad dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I at first I was really vibing with him. I liked his design, and except for the turds on his jacket, and then I liked the sword claws. Really cool. I loved the detail where that's why he kept pushing up his glasses with his palms.
His customized nails.
Yeah, because he's got.
He does not take out.
He does not. I will say though, towards the end, I was like, all right, I am kind of sick of you. I need you to die. Like, please die.
Yeah.
I wrote 4 times for 4 different chapters. I wrote, "Are you dead? Please die. Please die." Because I don't know. He was like he kind of became one note after we understood what he wanted. And so I guess for me that wasn't it. But
at every turn being like, and guess what? I'll kill you.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, man.
He was cool, and he was like shifting around, like almost teleporting and next to people with his claws. But I don't know. It was more interesting when he was like placating to Kaya. But then we find out he's like, yeah, I actually felt nothing, and I'll kill you. It was like, okay, well, now I just want you to die. I was missing
Some nuance.
yeah, Buggy. I was missing Buggy a
Yeah.
bit, and I think Oda was too because he was drawing him
He
on
was drawing
every
so much-
cover.
it was great.
Well,
The buggy covers.
to real quick bring up a point there, and I would ask y'all to keep this in mind going forward, this is where we get the introduction of a One Piece staple called the cover story, which is something the world of One Piece is very big, and it is something that is very alive. And characters, if we go a while without seeing a character, they're going to have changed in some way. The world is constantly moving.
Yeah.
And so one way that Oda manages this is he does cover stories like this one, where this is a very basic version of it, but we see Buggy and his crew dealing with the aftermath of the Orangetown arc. And that's something that you should keep an eye out for going forward, because sometimes it will be never too important, but somewhat plot relevant in the world.
Because the last of the Buggy cover story, he landed with Treasure Chest Man, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's like,
Oh yeah,
ooh.
that's right.
You see his silhouette, and it's like, oh, that's a guy we know. I know that guy.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, no, I definitely got the feeling that I was like, well, I already said I was like, I think Buggy's going to come back. And I definitely got the feeling it would be like, I'm back. And guess what happened in all that time? All of this crazy shit. And we'd like, find out and stuff. So yeah, that's cool. The ending though, going back to that, is I really liked how he was like, don't tell anyone this happened. Like, keep it a secret. Wait, who's
Usopp.
That was his idea,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't
Yeah.
Kai's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You stop being like, this is just going to be another boring day for the town.
And
Yes.
then then he's gone, and the village is like, oh, where's that idiot kid? He's supposed to wake us
Yeah.
up. Yeah, I liked that village montage. Sorry, were you gonna say something?
No.
Oh, okay. I also really liked I didn't care for Django as a character. I did like the device of like the hypnotizing people into being stronger, and then he accidentally hypnotizes Luffy, and Luffy,
So funny.
and Luffy does an aura barrage essentially, and like that shit was
It
awesome.
was so funny. And just being like, he's not even directed at him. He
Yeah.
wasn't even looking.
Yeah.
And Oda kept using that device very cleverly throughout, even when explaining how
He can
Hiro
hypnotize
got out,
himself.
how he like framed his own
With
death.
that being
Speaking
Captain
of
Morgan.
which-
It was Captain Morgan.
What?
Captain
Captain
Morgan.
That was the guy who captured Kuro.
That's where his arm and his jaw went.
Is the Kuro when he did this? Because I remember like the guy
and
who
that's
was pinning
why
down.
he's seen as such a hero, even though he's a fucking chump.
I didn't put that together.
Yeah.
I have to go back and
Because I
look at
remember
that.
I was looking at that flashback and I was like, oh man, that guy's face looks kind of like Captain Morgan. And then when he was like, when Kuro said that line about being like, your jaw's broken, but it'll heal or whatever. He said something about the broken jaw. I was like, it is Captain Morgan. And it's like that world building was so special
Yeah.
to me.
Well, that actually makes
There
me
is-
hate Captain Morgan even more.
There is some stuff. I have taken screenshots of stuff already that I'm like, in 600 chapters, I'm gonna blow their mind.
Oh, hell yeah.
On the crew, on the cover thing right before we get too far that I can't mention this. I think my favorite of all of these covers in these things was the snowboarding crew.
Dude,
the
snowboard
crew.
cover?
I
It was
like
so
that's
sick.
like something that
Yes.
it's like I'd be like I'd make that my desktop
I
background.
would wear what Luffy's wearing in that. Like, his outfit is actually fucking awesome.
It goes
Yeah.
hard.
Oda loves fashion, and we get a lot of these, like, a lot of times color spreads, sometimes just art for the cover that's black and white. But he loves drawing the crew together as a big happy family in like different settings. Maybe they're having a video game night or like a poker night or something, and giving them fun outfits, and it's great. It's the best thing ever.
So far, yeah.
Fashion.
it's
That's funny
great.
that you bring that up. Fashion.
Do you know
because
the reputation of JoJo
I'm aware
with
he
that?
has. Iraqi has genuinely designed clothing.
Yeah,
He has
there's
done
like a
partnerships with Gucci.
Partnership
Yeah,
line and
that's
I will
fantastic.
I will
That's awesome.
say I'm looking forward to seeing how the fashion of both series evolves as we get to know them both. I'm like thinking now. There's like so much about part 2. I forgot to ask about, but we can get to that later.
I mean, we'll still be in part 2 next episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the snowboarding was awesome. Some of their pirate coats go so hard. I gotta
A
say,
good pirate coat.
The robot one where they were giant robots was cool.
Yes.
I had a lot of fun with that
I
one.
thought it was parade floats at first, but yeah, they were giant robots. So it was good.
Killing dudes.
I enjoyed the author's notes a lot in these last.
Yes, we got the
volumes.
Q&As that
Yeah,
you
the
were talking
Q&As
about last
are good.
episode.
They're
There were
very
a few
fun.
really fun ones.
Yeah, like with someone asked like if that was Buggy's hair or if it was like just little pigtail extensions or something, and he was like showed him without his hat.
It was so
That was
funny.
so funny.
There's the one where it was the question was like, why is Luffy always so calm? And the answer was probably because he's so stupid.
He's so stupid.
And it's just like, yeah, all right, fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite that he'll do in those little SBSs is people will be like, it started with one person asking it and has become a running thing throughout the series. Is somebody will be like, what would Zoro's swords look like if they were people? And then he'll draw like fucked up little people and be like, this is one each emoji, this is this one.
It's so fun. The little drawings are so fun.
Yeah.
There was the one where somebody was like, "What's Nami's measurements?" And
Right. That was weird.
that was
It was a
weird.
weird.
Yeah.
It was a weird thing because he did the whole thing where it's like he had Nami, like he was
like-
talking to Nami, and Nami beat him up and was like, "You have to pay me for that
He
information."
role played with himself as
I
Nami.
loved it. I
Yeah.
was so here for it. It was so silly.
It was crazy.
I wasn't as much of a fan of that, but that's fine. He did. It was better than giving her measurements.
That's
Yeah,
true.
okay.
That's how I
Yeah.
interpreted
That's
it.
Well,
true.
also, if he did that, then people would be like, he didn't draw Nami's measurements right in this panel. And blah,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
I-
true.
Yeah.
Is it Go Mary? Is it the Going Mary?
The Going Merry.
Okay, because
Going
it got
Mary.
weird. It's translated as the Merry Go,
Yes.
but yes,
Oh,
Right.
it's
I
called the Going Mary.
when-
It is
whenever
called The Going Merry.
Kaya was like, and Mary, one more thing. I was like, it's gonna. This is it.
No, you didn't know that. I pointed that out.
No, you
Yes.
no, you didn't.
Yes, I.
Adriana,
I did.
you're actually crazy.
When there's tension, we're arguing.
No. You can't fight. You can't fight in front
Adriana,
of me.
I
He's
was
really
like,
comfortable.
let me just say,
I said, she's probably going to give him a ship. And then you were like, oh, that's right, because it's Mary and what I know. And then I was like, what? And
No,
you were like,
Adriana,
what?
that's
And
not
then
what-
I was like,
That's
you're
just-
stupid.
that's-
And then you were like,
Adriana, you completely misinterpreted what happened. I didn't want to say, it's going to be the Going Mary, the ship, the famous ship, because you were
Yes.
like, don't say anything. I said, hey, okay. You know what? You win, sure. I can't deal with this.
So we might not get an episode
One
next
more
week.
thing. I assume that's a lot of Syrup Village. I do want to say.
Is that what it's called?
Yes, Syrup Village.
Okay, I was like,
It's
they're
the name
supposed
of-
to be named after foods, right? I didn't.
What is?
All the places they go to.
What is syrup?
what is syrup? Of food.
Food, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't know what it was called, but I expected it to have a name.
Oh,
and I never got
gosh.
the name.
You
I-
are so behind.
So Syrup. I guess Syrup Village and Orangetown. Sure. I think the rest of the Luffy, the first place we see, that's Windmill Village. That's not a food.
No.
Well,
Unless you.
Unless you're really hungry. But Captain Kuro here. Another quick check-in with him. Captain Kuro is identified. I can't remember if it's in the story or by Oda. Captain Kuro is identified to be, I believe, the smartest man in the world, which is just not true.
he gets headbutted to death. He
Yeah.
loses to a headbutt.
I think
Wait,
at one
what?
point that gets said, and it's like
Where?
That's
What'd you
not
say?
true.
Where does this get said?
That.
either by sorry, I believe the smartest man in the East Blue. So
Okay.
this region.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Which makes more sense because the Grand Line is like big and crazy stuff on it. What's up?
Where is this said?
Either in the story or in an SBS. I can't remember.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes,
Um,
please do.
in one moment, there is a moment where Kuro's crew is talking, and there's specifically like one moment, and in the background there's a guy standing there, and he's got a hat on, and he's specifically, I have a picture here. He's specifically labeled and pointed to pirate in the margins. And I don't know
Wait, let me
why he had to specifically be Like, I assumed so. He's with the crew of pirates. It's a background shot of pirates.
I think it's because he has his cat ears on.
Oh, okay.
And we might have thought he was a cat.
And we might have...
Maybe because he looks like a Viking kind of. I don't know.
Maybe. Because we know how much he likes to draw animals.
But he's in the group with the rest of the pirates.
I think it's literally... the way I interpreted that was that it's like, look how silly these guys are. Are they really pirates? Yeah, they are. Believe it or not, this guy's a pirate, even though he has eyeliner and cat ears.
Wait, so yeah. Also, so they are officially branded now as cats. Is that supposed to be a retcon, or is that actually just like since Django took over, he rebranded them to being like cat themed?
They've always been cats.
Yeah, he had the cat claws.
The whole wolf analogy, I think, was more conceptual.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think they referred to themselves like as wolves, but they've always been they're cats. That's their thing.
Black cat pirates, right? Is that what they were called?
Yeah.
So why isn't Luffy dead?
Right.
When Django gets a blade lodged midway through his brain, like it's in there.
That's it. This is a great time to set that precedent. They are not human beings. They do not have human bodies.
It was just like, but I thought he's weak to blades.
Yeah, I thought
and a blade went in his skull.
He got. It certainly hurt him.
Okay.
Sure.
He took damage from that.
Okay.
A One Piece fight is you're gonna get hit, you're gonna get beat, you might get stabbed in the fucking chest or whatever. Mm-hmm. People are capable of withstanding very traumatic bodily things.
Just classic anime.
Sure.
I guess.
He drew it so brutal.
Yes.
It was like that's a killing blow.
I was like, One Piece is over.
Because also I feel like it was built up a lot, the fact that blades were actually like they kept driving that home, like he's vulnerable to blades, he's vulnerable, and so he's like flying blade in his head. I feel like that definitely caused some confusion.
I'll just say, to set this precedent, at no point probably in this story is somebody gonna get like shot. If they're like a Luffy, Zoro, Nami type, they're not gonna get shot and be like, I'm down. Like that's not how it works.
Okay.
Spoiler. Damn.
Sorry, Sammy.
At one
But-
point, I wrote throat goat Luffy at one point. I forgot why.
I think
Was
go
this
on
the
Twitter
chapter where he
and-
sucks off Zoro?
I'm trying to think.
There was one of the question answers. He was like,
I-
how good would Luffy be at
That's
sucking
right.
dick?
What,
Yeah,
what did
and
he do?
his
No, he
answer
did
was-
something with his neck.
Okay, because
when he went
what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
when he
yeah.
went backwards to talk to the rest of the crew, and he went, "I'm gonna still kick your ass."
Yeah.
I remember I didn't remember that, but all I remember was that whatever he did, you writing that down, I was appalled. I was like, this does not match with this.
I'm having fun. We're not reading this together anymore. Crazy.
Yeah.
No, it's actually so fun to read together. Part of me is like, I don't know. We have yet to read this separately.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually
Except for the
surprised
first
how I thought given the timing we would need to. But these volumes, they do fly by. Even when I'm in an arc where I'm not particularly enjoying it, I do forget how short these chapters are. So yeah, I throughout this, I was like, there were moments where I was like, oh, vibes, but for the most part, I was missing like Luffy and Zoro and Nami's kind of dynamic because it was more focused on Usopp. And I get it, they were setting up his kind of like character. But then towards the end, they get the ship. Kaya's magically all better. She realizes it was trauma that made her sick. That was cool. And then the vibes just kind of came back.
Yeah.
Do we want to move into the beginning of the next arc, which we
We
kind of
gotta
gonna
talk
say,
about.
yeah.
we gotta
Sanji.
talk about Barati.
Well, first, we gotta talk about Johnny and Yosaku. Everybody's favorite guy.
Well,
Do we have? They seem like he got hit with a cannonball and
They
ate
had
some limes.
gangrene or something.
I relate.
Yeah, they had
Scurvy.
I relate to that. I love limes.
Yeah.
So
I relate to that. I
He
have
drank
scurvy.
a bucket of
Yeah.
lime juice and then
yes.
got up.
And then got up.
That is
Why
impressive.
coughed
don't
up
you
blood.
drink a bucket
Eh,
of lime juice and then not get
What
up?
what did he keep saying? What was his like go-to line when he was down on the
Brother.
ground?
Brother. He
No,
called him brothers.
no. The other guy, the guy, Scurvy Man.
Oh,
he kept being like,
The
Brush a breath
oh,
away from
a
death.
hair away from
a hair's
hair's
breath
breath.
away from death or something.
yeah, a
like
hair's
that,
breath
yeah.
away from death.
Uh-huh.
Every
was
time
funny.
he got anything happened to him.
That was funny.
Which is great.
I like that they were from the same like the same background as Zoro, but they suck.
Yeah.
they can't get
They
anything
know
done.
him. They know they're friends,
Yeah.
pals.
Yeah, they went to
Um,
the Bounty Hunters Con together.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and they might be around for a little bit.
I'm hoping.
I'm
Oh.
sure.
I'm kind of hoping so.
I-
They're funny.
Wow.
I wanted to say before we got to that
Maybe they will
though,
be the musicians.
maybe they will be
Maybe
the
they will
boat
be the
musicians. You're right.
musicians.
I would love. Maybe I don't know if we do this on this episode. Maybe we do it after we finish the rest of the talks if we have time. I want to hear what positions y'all think still need to be filled.
Oh, okay.
That is that's a good one.
Barnacle eater. One.
True.
Let's do
Let's
it.
do
Let's
it
do it.
later.
Yeah.
So when they get the Going Merry,
Uh-huh.
and then they're on it, and they're shipping, and there's just like a little bit of bonding going on.
Yeah.
And I was so thrilled with that. I was like,
Uh-huh.
They got a new house.
they got a
That's
new
awesome.
house, and it's sick, and it's got a kitchen and everything. And I was just loving that. I'm like, fucking more of that. It was like back to vibes, and Usopp was fitting in so well with the dynamic,
Uh-huh.
and I hope he continues to do that.
That was so nice when he was like, I'll see you guys around, and they're like, why? And he's like, you don't want to see me? He was like, aren't you coming with us? And that was nuts.
Yeah, they
That was
get
nuts.
on the boat.
That was
Yeah,
really
like,
cute.
You didn't
Yeah.
even need to see them discuss it. Like they
Yeah.
knew, Usopp's on the team.
That was neat.
Even though they hadn't discerned yet any skill that he could bring to the table until he was
but they were
already
like,
on the boat.
He's a guy.
Uh-huh.
He's a
They're not that worried about it. Obviously, they got to find their cooks. They got to find their
Yeah.
musicians
Yeah.
and such.
Yeah.
The more the
Um,
merrier.
But honestly, it's about the person more than anything.
Sorry. Side note: does Usopp have a long nose because he's a liar like Pinocchio? Is it-
Yar.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't know that.
To be
either.
fair, though, his dad has one as well, and I don't know if he lies.
and his mom had
and
one
his
as well
mom
too.
had one too.
Oh.
They
Oh.
had a nose convention.
Well, you kind of women like men who remind them of their fathers.
True.
I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, keep going on that. Keep going on that for a while.
Nah. When we saw the ocean restaurant,
Yeah.
Baratier.
I was like,
Well, that's how you say it.
now we're talking. Like this is some.
Yeah.
I was like, this is some freaky little shit that I'm like, I want to see more stuff like this. This is kind of what was promised. Like just little concepts like this that just kind of just slide into frame. They don't make a big announcement. It's like, oh yeah, of course there's a restaurant boat.
Yeah,
I'm
everyone,
like,
everyone
fuck yeah.
knew what it was and was really excited about
Yeah,
it.
I was so excited, and so far it's really cool. Although, holy shit, that last chapter just so much fucking happened.
I was
Yeah.
noticing that as well. I didn't remember that from that chapter. But
I could not keep up
with all the stuff that happens, what do we think of little blonde boy Sanji?
I like Sanji
so
so
far. He's
Yeah.
really cool. I
So,
really like
yeah,
him.
he is certainly like a different. I mean, every character they've brought up has been a unique dynamic in a opposition to the rest of them, which I think Sanji is still bringing, and I find that very impressive to be like, okay, cool. This guy is nothing like the rest of the crew, but has that core thing that will bind them. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't know how the dynamic will be with the other ones, with everyone else specifically.
Yeah, he hasn't really met anyone except
Yeah,
Luffy
so it's
briefly.
interesting because it could be the same or it could be like completely. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
like it feels like when we meet a new character, we don't know what the main cast is gonna like bring out in them dynamic wise. So it's I'm excited to
Yes.
find out. And yeah, he's cool.
The three chefs I thought were also
Yeah.
really fun. Like introducing them, like the three of them all already having a dynamic and
Right.
being like, okay, cool. You can see him in comparison to his previous group. So when we get him into the new group, it'll be very interesting. I really like the guy who's really big on the customer is king.
Yes.
I didn't understand what he was saying.
And
love his
when
deal.
he doesn't have money, he
He
fucking
just
squashes
beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, Sorry, were you gonna say?
No,
something?
you please.
I have heard a little bit about Sanji's deal later on, and so I didn't get any hints of that, of what his deal. What I believe I remember his deal to be.
His deal, like the Sanji problem, or
Yeah, I think the Sanji problem.
problem.
Unless we're talking about something
Look,
different.
Look,
How
look,
soon do we
I'll say
figure
this.
out what the Sanji problem is?
Not for a while. Not for a while. Not for a
Okay.
long time, really. That it's a problem. I will say this: Sanji, I love him. One of my favorite characters in the whole dang thing. Being a Sanji fan is work, okay? and
I understand.
And you got to clock in
understand what you mean.
sometimes, and you got to take some shit. But
It's
worth it, in my
Okay.
opinion.
not just the Sanji
Okay.
problem, but like I know a bit about his like arc or his backstory. I think
Well,
his
don't.
deal. Like
You'll
his,
have to tell. You have to talk to me about that offline.
Yeah. So
You
but-
also might. I'm not even sure what you're talking about,
cool.
You're crazy.
pal.
The point is, I didn't get any of that from his introduction, and I like that. I like that because it was just like there's a mystique now around this cigarette wielding
Yeah.
boy.
Guy who beats the shit out of
We
Trunks.
know
Yeah.
that he does not take shit, and we know that even if somebody is a scoundrel, a ruffian, a pirate, and a thief, Sanji's not going to let them go without food. And I really like that
Dude,
moment.
Sanji is
Yeah.
cooking, dude.
He's cooking.
Yeah.
Cooking.
He's cooking.
I hope we see more fun ships like Barati going forward. I hope we see more
Oh,
just
yeah.
fun ocean themed
Yeah, I was gonna
shit
say
like that.
naval combat isn't really something we've seen so far. I don't know if we'll see a lot of it. I mean, this series feels like has its legs on like having the guys be face to face, but I'd love to see some more naval combat.
Maybe there's a maybe.
Maybe soon. Maybe soon.
Well, now
But
they've
now they have a boat.
established that they have a cannon to use.
Yes.
So,
I really thought that they were gonna I thought they were gonna take the Black Cat's boat, because when he ripped, I've seen like the Going Merry like later on, and so when he like ripped off the
bow thing,
the
yeah.
front of the ship or whatever, I was like, oh, they're teeing that up, so they're gonna get a new mast. Yeah.
That'd be cute.
But
Yeah.
I like that they have their own ship.
Yes.
yeah.
It's fun.
The what is this fly doing in my soup? It's hard to tell, but I think it's a backstroke. That was so funny.
Yeah, fucking
I laughed
killing it,
out
man.
loud.
That I think One Piece is very funny. That is very
Yes.
different than a joke I would expect. That's such a
I
like
know.
dad of like
Exactly.
Well, sir, it looks like it's doing a bit of a back. And it's like who the fuck are
Right,
you,
I
man?
know.
Who is this guy? That's not Sanji.
I like how easily that Navy guy got folded, because like you introduce him as like, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be the villain of the next arc,
Right.
And then Sanji's holding his corpse.
Yeah. I understand that this will probably be in the live action, like this. I know that Sanji's introduced in the live action show, and I'll be honest, while I don't really know if I'm going to want to watch the live action adaptation, I am curious to see how this restaurant ship will be adapted, because I think there's a lot of potential for that to be.
We
just
saw it in the trailer.
very visually interesting.
Right?
So,
I didn't see it. In
Have
the
you
trailer.
ever been to a restaurant? So imagine that.
We're gonna talk later.
John-
We're gonna talk after this- after
Imagine
this
that,
podcast.
except instead of dirt outside, it's water.
You're so dumb.
You're-
No, yeah, in the trailer, Baratier looks wonderful. I love it.
Oh, Baratier. Okay, thank you.
Baratier. Some people call it Barati.
Is that the name of this arc?
I call it Baratier. Yes,
The
it is the
ship.
name of this
Baratier.
arc and the name of the
Oh.
yeah. Yeah.
ship. But yes,
Picking
I
it
will
apart.
say.
We're gonna talk after this
I'm
podcast.
just making a lot of enemies this episode.
Do we have any more thoughts about Baratier specifically before
we haven't seen enough. I
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was very brief. What do we think about? I don't know if we know his name yet. The peg-legged chef.
Yeah, we got his name. There was an icon that said his name, but it's like Zeef or something.
Zeph.
He has a big old hat.
He has a big old hat.
Yeah.
He has a big old mustache.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
He
he's-
wants Luffy's leg.
Yes.
I think they'll. Be,
I liked that.
it-
He was
yeah.
like, "Okay, give me that fucking leg."
Like, I don't want to.
I think
I'll
there's
work
going to
for you
be
for a week.
an interesting dynamic between how he and Luffy work out their the debt that apparently Luffy has. Even though Luffy, it's not really Luffy's fault.
But Luffy's not going to let him go without a roof.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think it's interesting because it feels like, at least in this arc, in the other 2 arcs that we've read, we've gotten teased by them at the end of the volumes that we've been reading. And it's always been very clear who the antagonist of that arc is going to be. And I feel like with Baratie, I'm not clear on who the antagonist is going to be. It seems like they're teeing it up to have a lot more, like, having a goal rather than a specific antagonist.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, they want that cook.
They want to cook.
I hope they get him. I hope they get the cook. And I also I just think in general I like how Sanji's design is going to complement the quintet. The kind of silhouettes that we see.
Yeah.
Do we want to speculate on what other roles the ship needs to fill?
It's ship time.
Sure.
Let's do it.
So we have Luffy the captain.
Yes.
We have Zoro the muscle
first mate.
And
Zoro's the first mate.
Yes.
Okay.
Nami is the navigator.
Navi's the navigator. We have Usopp now, who's going. It looks like he's going to be the marksman.
Yes.
And now
Sanji is the cook.
is going to cook.
Yeah.
They mentioned that they want a musician.
Yeah. The musician. There's got to be a guy up on that net thing.
The lookout.
Yes.
Yeah.
They also need 2 people
The crew's
to
net.
have a podcast on the
Right.
ship.
Yes.
That's
Podcast boat.
Okay.
Podcast.
I think that's going to be Chopper, right? Is he going to be one of the... Okay. All right.
Sanji's cooking. Chopper's podcasting.
Classic.
Yeah, they have to generate revenue outside of piracy. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
There's got to be a guy that's like whole job is like ropes.
Yeah.
Got to be a ropes guy.
Oh, they need a repairman.
A carpenter. Yeah.
Or an
I feel like
engineer,
we're
an
thinking
engineer,
about
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I feel like we're thinking about this too much of what you'd need on an actual boat right now. I feel like most of the roles filled are going to be
Probably.
things that you do not need to run a boat.
A treasurer.
That's Nami, right?
Yeah, you think Nami's gonna let anybody else touch
Nami's
that
not
fucking
touching
money?
that coin. No.
A bank account manager. They need an accountant.
A lawyer.
A lawyer.
A cleaner probably. Like a cassette. What?
Chopper's cleaning.
What?
No, I feel like that also feels like we're overthinking. We're thinking about the
I'm
literal.
not overthinking it. You don't think about cleaning. You have to overthink about
Oh,
cleaning.
someone to handle weapons.
Or,
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that the marksman?
But there's got to be a guy who's like obsessed with weapons. Like ever, do you guys know that animated movie Sinbad?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Do you know the part where they go to that party and all of them like take out the weapons and then there's that one guy who like keeps taking out weapons for
Yeah,
like 15 minutes or whatever? There's got to be one of those guys.
There's got to be.
I'm going to talk to you after the podcast.
You and Clayton got to talk after the podcast now.
We'll have a fun little chat.
No, I honestly, you might be onto something. I mean, that is a fun
Yeah.
trope to have. Was someone's got they got their hands on. I have a vague idea of what some of the other members look like that are
Yeah.
going to join later.
I know what Chopper looks like.
Yeah,
I don't
know what he
anything
could do on a boat.
Me neither.
I've never heard that name in my life ever. So
That's
surprise.
so true. That's so true.
Does anyone give them all haircuts? There has to be someone who gives.
Oh, the
everyone-
barber.
The skeleton guy.
The barber.
The skeleton.
What?
Don't say that.
Do you know that?
I know.
Did you
I
just
just.
spoil
I
it?
know. I just know there's a skeleton guy. I'm assuming that these. I'm
Why
just
would
guessing.
you assume the skeleton?
He has the hair. He has such hair.
Somebody's got to be the anchor. There's got to be somebody who
Tied to a rope.
who eats a
goes-
devil fruit.
yeah.
The devil fruit gives them the ability to not need to breathe,
Yeah.
and they become the ship's anchor.
All right. You heard it here
Swim.
first, folks. Overall, what would y'all? We wrapped up an arc here officially. What would
Yeah.
y'all give Syrup Village out of 10?
I'd give it a 4.
4 out of 10.
I'm gonna say 7.
I'm gonna also say 7. I think it was,
Really?
I enjoyed it a lot. I really enjoy. I can see it being, again, pretty standard. Pretty like it's not breaking new walls in storytelling, but it did a lot of things that I enjoy seeing.
It kept. I have to base my. If I do number ratings, I have to base it off of like how much it kept my interest.
Yeah.
Because that's a really hard thing to do sometimes with stories. So, Yeah, the fact that it did, I didn't get like that bored, or I wasn't like, I wasn't like agonizing for it to end, and I could like get through it easily. It was good.
Hell yeah.
Are we rating the
arc?
The arc, but are we doing the rating thing with JoJo too? I forget. Did you just rate the whole part? Is that what you did?
That's what you had me do last time.
Okay. I forgot. What did you say it was?
I think 5.
Okay.
I think retroactively I might have changed it to a 4.
How long is the Baratier arc going to go?
So I did want to do some setting of expectations for Baratier. One Piece has kind of long arcs, typically. Baratier is, I think, the exact same chapter length as Syrup Village. I might be wrong about that.
Okay.
I will say there's a lot more substance to it as well. It feels like it should be that long, to me at least.
Mm-hmm.
I love Baratier a lot. There's some good stuff coming. Josh, especially, there's a character that's going to blow your goddamn mind. You're going to love him.
Oh.
Me specifically?
Josh
Yes, I think so.
Based off of what?
Based off of other characters that I know you like.
Because his
Okay.
name's Josh.
I do like when they are named that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else we should going into this?
I don't think so.
So, for next week, we're reading.
Well, we got to set expectations for Clayton.
Yeah. Either one first. Just.
I mean, we've set expectations for part 2 already. Right?
No, we did. No, we didn't. We did not do that.
I don't remember anything.
Well, let's do that now.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Is this okay that we do this?
Of course.
Okay. Do you remember us setting expectations?
For part 2 in general, yes.
We're talking
Not on
about-
this episode.
We're talking about how many episodes he's gonna watch, right?
Yeah, we're about to talk about how many,
Yeah.
because it's like he's setting his expectations for the arc that we're going into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not starting a new arc with JoJo.
I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, the way I look at it. Adriana is just telling me to cut it. I'm not. I'm not.
They are reaching across the table trying to unplug Josh's mic right
They
now.
have one of those long hook
Am I
pulling him
okay,
off screen.
Adriana, don't answer. Am I being annoying right now?
No,
no.
that's not what I meant at
Okay,
all.
I'm just remembering. Did we do this? Didn't we do this for part 1 where like the next few episodes that you're gonna watch? I tried to set your expectations.
So the next episodes, the amount of episodes, let's talk about that, and then we'll say there.
Oh, okay.
We got 2 volumes of One Piece
Yes.
and another 6 episodes of JoJo, correct? JoJo Man, tell us how many episodes.
JoJo.
of
So
JoJo
it's
you're
either
watching.
gonna be anywhere from 5 to 7 episodes.
Well, right in the middle is
but
6.
not 6.
No, it could be 6 as well. I just am
Me
trying
and Josh are
to.
gonna have to talk after the podcast now.
We're gonna have a lot
I
of
just want it to be a
conversations now.
decent stopping point for you. So it's gonna be, honestly, you can just watch the next 6 episodes, and after that you'll just have 5 episodes to watch. Okay, setting your expectations for these next 6 episodes. If we may do that.
I don't remember anything that happens in the next 6 episodes.
When does it end? What part?
It ends. You want me to tell you the plot point?
Well, just show me, I guess.
Okay.
What happens in this
Yeah,
thing?
what happens at the end?
So it's right before the chariot. It ends right before the
Oh.
chariot race.
Okay.
Yeah. So essentially you're a third of the way through part 2 already. For me personally, and I think y'all might agree, you're through the brunt of part 2. At least like my least favorite part is the beginning. I think you're gonna remember some things about. Some things are gonna. Maybe you won't remember some stuff. Maybe you will. But I think that the dynamics between the characters, specifically the main characters, it gets a little more developed than say part 1, and it's gonna be still. I don't think this is gonna be as challenging of a middle act as part 1's middle act was for you.
It's kind of the
Fantastic.
opposite, where it's like, okay, things are rolling now.
Yeah, things
Hell
are
yeah.
rolling. It just moves, a little faster as you keep going. Although the overarching plot of part 2 and the pacing of it is a bit of a spectacle, of an exhibit, I should say. But I don't know. I'm thinking that for that episode, we should still start with JoJo, and then maybe for the end of part 2, we should maybe start with One Piece, depending on how One Piece is going. Because the end of part 2 is, I think, worth maybe saving till the end of the episode, unless you guys disagree.
I think we'll see what's happening in One Piece and then decide.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And after that, yeah, and then from there, part 3 will have an interesting schedule, I should say, that we'll need to discuss in more detail. But yeah, I'm excited for you to continue your JoJo journey, and I think we're excited to continue our One Piece journey for sure. I'm really excited for Baratie.
Yeah.
Me too.
I've been having a
Makes
bunch
me
of fun.
hungry.
Yeah,
This
I'm
sounds like Barada.
Me too, man. Is it name? Is that what it's named after?
Probably.
I'm not. I was gonna say probably not.
Sounds French.
I don't know.
Baratie. Sounds French. Oh, and Sanji's supposed to be like.
So he's supposed to be French.
Supposed to be French.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Luffy's Brazilian, Zoro's Japanese, Nami is Scottish, and Usopp is African.
Oh, very
That's cool.
Okay.
I forgot that was a deal.
He's
Yep.
African. Okay.
Not from real Africa. Of
Yeah,
course,
I know.
but-
Is he supposed to be? He's supposed to. I mean, his hair. I suppose. I don't know.
He is considered supposed to be black. In general, there is not. Oh, something really scary just came into the room.
Austin Powers is in the room with us right now.
International drag superstar Sir Maxim
Sir
is
Maxim.
currently dressed as Austin Powers and is
It looks
creeping
so good.
through the kitchen.
Shushing us.
Watch,
Shushing us.
listen to Critical Darlings wherever you get your podcasts, and also go watch any of his shows frequently at Oil Can Harry's or Cheer Up Charlie's or other places. Or Rain on
or
Fourth or Elysium.
In the
In the Red River Cultural District.
Oh.
August 12th, I'll be on the East stage for Austin
I don't know when
Pride.
these episodes
That's-
are coming
we're
out,
just-
Maxim. I don't know if
Yeah,
that'll...
there's no way that the August 12th thing.
TikTok shop, I'm selling these zines, collectibles. You can get them now.
Is that
Look
true?
at
Are
you.
you shilling? Are you shilling right now? Do you want to come over to the mic and shill a little bit more?
He's had enough.
It's so funny.
But-
His
He's dropshipping.
his color palette is Jody.
He actually, it's very funny. He looks very JoJo.
Yeah,
right?
you
Yeah,
did
you
it.
literally
It's
the main character of part 9 has
but-
almost this exact color palette.
Let's
You look
let's put a-
awesome, by the way.
let's
You
put
look
a-
so amazing.
Let's put a cap in this.
Yeah, yeah,
let's-
Let's finish this thing off with a bang to the fucking skull. So we've set expectations. We've done homework.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to say?
What did you think of shit. I forgot.
We're not talking about
Yeah,
more
no,
stuff.
I-
Guys,
did I think
okay. Josh and I are getting a divorce. That's what I have
No,
to say.
please.
First of all, congrats on the marriage.
Yeah.
All right.
All
right.
right.
And we're done. I think we're done. Let's throw a circular little thing into the back of this thing's head, right?
Yes.
Yay.
Okay, wait, don't. Oh, yeah. 3, 2, 1. Love
Goodbye.
you. Good
Love
night.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, wow.
We
Love
love
you.
you.
Good night.
Good night.